Around 8:30 p.m. on December 29, 1972, Eastern Airlines Flight 401 from JFK to Miami boarded 163 passengers, including 13 crew members. Captain Bob Loft piloted the new Lockheed L-1011 TriStar, the most technologically advanced commercial passenger jet at the time. Captain Loft, a 32-year veteran of Eastern Airlines, had logged 29,700 hours of flight time during his career. The co-pilot was First Officer Bert Stockstill, a former U.S. Air Force pilot, and the flight engineer was Don Repo, who had started as a mechanic for Eastern Airlines in 1947. Both men had accumulated considerable hours in the L-1011, relative to the airliner being a new addition to the fleet. The flight had been routine until the approach to Miami International Airport at 11:32 p.m. While lowering the landing gear, the flight crew noticed that an indicator light for the nose gear did not illuminate. Captain Loft informed the Miami control tower that he was abandoning the approach and requested a holding pattern to detect the issue. The flight crew aboard 401 found that the landing gear was operating correctly and confirmed that the light bulb for the indicator light was burned out. Yet, all three members of the flight crew, as well as a fourth Eastern Airlines employee who was in the cockpit, continued to investigate the light's malfunction. During the confusion, Captain Loft unknowingly nudged the steering wheel, disengaging the autopilot. Unbeknownst to the crew and passengers, the aircraft had begun a slow descent towards the swamplands of the Florida Everglades. As Flight 401 made its turn for final approach, the crew realized something was wrong. But it was too late. At 11:42 p.m., the L-1011, carrying 176 people, crashed into the muddy swamplands of the Everglades. In total, 101 people lost their lives, including Bob Loft, Bert Stockstill, and Don Repo. Many of the 75 survivors on board suffered serious injury or infected wounds. Following an extensive investigation, human error was identified as the primary factor of Flight 401's crash. The nose landing gear was found to be functioning correctly, with the indicator issue attributed to a burnt-out $12 light bulb. Flight 401's gradual descent and soft impact angle, coupled with the mud in the Everglades, contributed to less violent crash dynamics, ultimately saving lives and leaving large sections of the airplane intact. It was found that some functional components, including radios, the galley elevator, and food warming stations, were still in good condition. These parts were salvaged and installed on other L-1011 jets within the Eastern Airlines fleet. This practice was considered appropriate, given the part's high cost and effective performance. Over the next 2 years, strange occurrences began happening on the jets containing the salvaged parts from Flight 401, with many reported ghost sightings. The sightings were oddly specific. Witnesses claimed to see full-body apparitions fixing ovens and checking pre-flight procedures. Some flight attendants felt a shared, eerie presence in the galley, despite working independently. They described feeling an unexplained cold sensation near heated ovens, prompting some to share their unsettling experiences, defying discouragement from the airline. A startled flight attendant reportedly saw a face staring at her from the overhead lockers. Another witness observed a white mist that expanded to the size of a basketball, revealing the facial features of a man wearing glasses. There have been other reports of a man's reflection appearing on the galley door. At Newark Liberty International Airport, a senior flight attendant noticed an extra person during pre-flight checks. It appeared to be an Eastern Airlines captain hitching a flight to Miami. When questioned, the man remained unresponsive before suddenly vanishing, causing panic among passengers. Despite a thorough search, the captain was never found. During a Miami flight, witnesses reported hearing a male voice over the PA system, delivering the customary announcement to fasten seatbelts in preparation for landing. Strangely, none of the plane's crew said they had made the announcement. A female passenger and coach, who had been quiet throughout the flight, suddenly started screaming hysterically. When approached, she pointed at the seat next to her, claiming that a man had abruptly appeared beside her and then suddenly vanished. Another incident involved a catering company spotting a man resembling the flight engineer from Flight 401, Don Repo, who disappeared as soon as he was approached. The terrified catering staff refused to re-enter the plane, causing a significant delay. On one flight, crew members heard unexplained banging from the maintenance compartment. When they went to investigate, they claimed that Don Repo appeared and told them about a faulty electrical circuit, which the crew found and repaired. Despite denying the strange events in 1974, Eastern Airlines removed the salvaged parts from Flight 401 on all L-1011 jets, including perfectly functional ones. Over time, the strange happenings eventually ceased. Reports indicated that the apparitions were perceived as helpful and focused on ensuring the safety of the flight. Many believe that Repo and Loft, potentially haunted by horror or guilt from the ill-fated Flight 401, couldn't find rest in death without attempting to ensure the safety of the aircraft they later visited. Some believe that the spirits of the ones who passed became bound to the salvaged parts of Flight 401. Others believe the ghost stories were fabricated altogether. What do you think?